Alright, kia ora koutou, Talia here, back again, and this time I'm going to be giving some personal tips on sharing your testimony. So what I have here is actually like an outline, and I am surely sure that CYT should be able to give you a copy of this or put it on their website for you guys to see, but it just has some really really handy tips on how you create your testimony and share your story with others. So, firstly, you would have seen in my first talk about what your story is and how important it is to ministry. So I just want to quickly explain that a personal testimony is a time in your life where you came to know Jesus and talking about how it changed your relationship, or how your relationship with God changed you for the better. So, yeah. It tells whoever you are speaking to 3 basic things. What your life was like before, what happened when you encountered Christ, and how it changed since then, or how the struggle maybe was altered. Sharing your personal story is an extremely effective evangelization tool, as you would have heard in my first talk, as it helps people to more connect to the story of Christ more, and it makes it relatable, and as I said, it makes you the 5th gospel, the now, the here and now of how Jesus works in our lives. This may not be the case all the time, but is especially effective when talking to those of no or little faith. Dun, 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 dun. So, preparing your testimony. Firstly, you need to pray. It's really important. So, God has given us this gift of our story, and we need to go to Him and go to the Holy Spirit, that it may be guided, and what we share may be guided through His works. So it's not about us, remember? Not about us, it's about Him. So it's really important to take it to prayer and be like, Holy Spirit, what are you wanting me to share? What's important here? What to the youth, the young people, young adults, what do they need to hear? And then from there, you'll slowly notice that the Holy Spirit works in you, and you'll be able to identify what story or what area in your life is best to share. Remember, keep it short. Our testimony should only be 3 to 5 minutes long. You've got a really short amount of time to grab their attention, tell them the most important things, and focus on the hope. So keep it short, and don't go for like unnecessary details of like, I was born in a Catholic family, I have an aunt named Judith, and I actually do, well, that was crazy, and a uncle who's a long lost person who went out on a ship. Just trim all those backstories behind and get straight to the point. Speaking to myself as I say this. Your main points, you want to focus on the before. So what were you like before Christ? So this could be, oh man, I had a partying lifestyle in university. No, really, I did. I loved to go out drinking in the weekends. If it was a Thursday or Saturday night, if I wasn't home with my family, I was usually at the clubs. And white girl wasted, Saturday night, man, it wasn't the best lifestyle to be living out. You need to talk about a point of decision. So what happened? What changed? What encounter did you have? What made you choose to follow Christ? So this is the nitty gritty. This is like your bite. This is your meat. Meat. If you're thinking of a sandwich, this is your meat. So for me, in my last year of university, I went to a young adults camp, and a road trip down with some friends from church, and this weekend was just amazing. It was really cool. Like, I learned things about my faith that I had never ever known. For me, it was mostly the people I encountered. So on this young adults retreat, I just met people that were so themselves. They were so Catholic and they were so comfortable. And I feel like it was that I was like, whoa, like this is just something else. This is not, you don't experience this on a Saturday night in the clubs. Like this is real. What these guys have, I don't know what it is yet, but this is real. And then from there, I went home and I began to just dive more into it. And I can honestly say that your next step is going to be, here I was about to ramble on to my testimony a little bit more. I am so sorry. And then you want to focus on what happened in your life following. So this is the hopeful stuff. The thing that where your life kind of got turned around. And don't get me wrong, you're not going to have it all together. Well, you might. I don't know. You may be absolutely perfect, and if you are, please tell me your tricks. That would be great. But we're still human at the end of the day. But you'll notice that from that moment, something changed and you lived your life differently. And for me, after going on that retreat weekend, I noticed that it was some of the friends that I was surrounding myself with. They weren't the best influence on me. And they weren't necessarily on a same wavelength as me. And from there, I met some really, really great Catholic friends that I still have today. And we've been able to journey with each other. And instead of talking about what drink we're going to have on a Saturday night, we get to talk about where God's actually working in our lives. And it feels, God's able to fill a void that we may have been meeting through other means in the after bit, before bit, but it's already being met through Jesus in the after. So we no longer need it. So, before, point of decision, your life following. All right, 3 main things, 2 to 3 minutes. All right, I think I've already spoken for like 10 on my testimony. Don't do it, Talia. No, just text. All right, coolio. So my last little notes is just in regards to your delivery. So when you're sharing your testimony. So you can actually share your testimony in a lot of different ways. It doesn't just have to be, speaking in front of a big crowd. It can be just having a one-on-one chat with someone or in a smaller group. And I encourage you to make it your prayer for God to put people in your life that need to hear your witness and your story. As you share your testimony, you also want to keep the following principles in mind. Number 1, don't preach. A testimony is not a lecture on morality or how to be Catholic. It's a personal story. Keep it true. Avoid being overly dramatic or exaggerating your past experiences. It's easy to spot a fake. There is no need to excessively detail the deeds of your lurid past. And just be brief. Keep it real. Avoid church jargon or trying to sound like you have your life and faith all sorted. It's a journey, not a destination. Keep it personal. Like a one-on-one conversation. Use I, me, my, rather than you. Relate everything back to your personal experience. Number 5, God does the work. God can use even the most humble of stories to change your heart. Really, really humble. Even if it's you sharing that you're really, really not good at singing. Even though you really want to be. But you notice that in Mass, something changes. And for me, I don't know why, but in Mass, I can sing really well. And I feel like it comes down to me glorifying God in that moment. And I really struggle to sing outside of Mass. And I genuinely do sound awful. But the one time I do think I sound all right is during Mass. So you can share a humble story and change your heart through something really, really small. Just some final notes. Your story isn't going to speak to every single person, and that's okay. Hopefully, one person can relate and choose Jesus as a result of hearing it, and it will be totally worth it. Make sure you pray. You pray beforehand, you pray before you give it, you pray afterwards as well. But the main tip for sharing a testimony is make sure you focus on the hope. If you spend 3 minutes talking about your past life, that's just glorifying the past. It's really, really important to glorify the good and the change that God has done. Whether it's that you go to Mass more regularly after a certain moment. Or maybe you feel like you've been given this amazing gift of the Spirit and you feel like you're able to talk about talk about God more. Focus on the positive. Focus on the hope. Focus on the goodness. Because God really is amazing. And I know for sure that He's done amazing things in my life, and I know that He's done amazing things in your guys' lives. And if He hasn't, maybe that can be your prayer tonight. But yes, I think that's all my tips. Yes, this little sheet should be going up on the website, and yeah, hopefully it can help you with writing your testimony in your ministries. I will be praying for you all, and all the best. The way I've presented both these videos, if you watch my first video on the power of your story, and then the tips that I shared in giving your testimony and presenting your testimony in whatever ministry setting you're in, I've brought in my story as a part of that in different ways to give you guys examples. So the way I've done that has shown that your story is so up and down. And there's moments where you'll see that people have changed me here and they've changed me from a certain lifestyle, but then other people have changed me in other ways in different areas of my life. So I really want to encourage you guys to look for where God's worked in your life and look for ways to share it. That's really, really important, and it's a really, really wonderful privilege to be able to allow God to use your story like that. All right. I think that's all I had to add. Yeah. Cool. Oh. Yeah.